Previous video, we were talking about the Asake and Gabzi event organized by Tukutane Entertainment that happened on 20th Saturday. Kulikuwa na competition with another event organized Soul Fest. Kuna patenye nilitouch on some unfortunate events that occurred. Kuna stampede iliyokaa kwa event ya Asake, and unfortunately about 3 people, or at least 3 people, died. And news that is coming in is that there is one person who has been identified as Karen Lojore. And actually, Karen's mom voiced her thoughts on the passing of her daughter. Of course, it's so unfortunate for a mom to lose her daughter and the loved ones wa umse mwenye amededi, man. So people have come forward, wale wasenye waliatendio event, trying to give the chronological order of what happened. Actually, there are some people who have said that Tukutane Entertainment should take accountability for what happened. People went there to have fun, rather wase wakadedi, man.
Kwanza hata tuseme rest in peace ukwela anaitwa Lojore manze. Jana alinyuria kwa hiyo stampede ilikuwa Nyayo Stadium. Second, family yake inafai ipasu a very strong lawsuit against hiyo event management yenye ili organize concert, kwa sababu walifail kuorganize a protocol ya safety. Stampede wanga inatokea senye hakuna mpangilio, mtu wangu.
People are having different kinds of stories here. Kuna wale wenye wanasema there are some guys wenye walienda huko na ile vako ya kuoccupy the event. So haha ni wale wase walikuwa wanaenda na ile vako ya kuwa rowdy kwa event. Other people are disputing this.
Mnani youth na hii mambo ya occupy. There's nothing about occupy, nothing about occupy. To the entirely everything from start to finish to Kutane's fault. And the more you keep on saying about occupy, I promise you the statement watakata kila kitu and blame it on occupy, and it was nothing to do with that. Endeleeni kusema occupy, endeleeni kusema don't have a ticket, you don't have a ticket. That's how they'll get away, and they won't take responsibility for nothing, and they'll get away with everything. I promise you, there's nothing about occupy. Hamwezi eka concert na mnaweka mlango ya estate, mna expect 5,000 people to pass through that one door. Mnafungia watu get 7, 8 na mlisema mnafunga 10. Mnaanza kupiga watu, mna expect watu wapige line kando ya highway. No crowd control, no nothing. There's nothing about occupy. Stop saying occupy. Mtaanza kuwape ideas, and that's the statement watatoa. I promise you.
Wase walikatazwa kuingia, alafu tena unashtukia gate imefungwa na ulikuwa umelipia tiko.
But for some reason, the security stopped allowing people in. And it was a good 30 or 45 minutes before even one more person went through. This led many people to get frustrated. And of course, this line of 80 guys now turned into several hundreds. And it was no longer 2 orderly lines anymore, because people started trying to push in, trying to make new lines. It was now just a big mob lining up at the gate at the front itself. Now, when more people kept trying to overtake, the police now started getting their batons out and hitting people. So that was the first instance where we felt a bit of a push each side, and people were really just trying to run away from the police. And the people around me were just saying, like, relax, this is how stampedes are caused, etc. But there's only so much you can do when there's hundreds of people now pushing against your backs. So it got to the point where they eventually started funneling people in. They would open this small 1-person gate, allow like 10 people through, and then try and close it again. But every time they opened it, there was a massive rush to get forward. And now the men's and women's lines were mixing together to try and get through this gate. So they did this process a few times until eventually I started getting a lot closer to the gate itself. And this is the moment I started hearing way more screams. It was much more tight. People saying, I can't breathe. People just panically screaming anyways. And there were a few guys who would try and come backwards saying, no, I can't do this. Like you actually can't breathe down there. I was now about 6 meters from the gates, but there were still dozens of people in front of me who were going to go in before me. And this is when I started to struggle to breathe. It wasn't good. And I think a lot of people around us towards the front also had that same idea of like, we're being pushed against this fence here. Everyone's like putting their arms in front of each other, like really restricting each other's airflows. So It was kind of like a group decision that we can't really do anything about this. The people at the front were like, we have to just try and break through the gate and the security. So that's really how the breach happened. I truly believe that most people there had paid for their tickets. I don't think it was similar to some other events in the past where people were just looking to cause trouble. Like, most people there were talking about how we've paid for our tickets. So really, for everyone's collective safety, people decided to just break through the security. And that's how the breach happened. And to be honest, if that didn't happen, it could have ended much worse. However, the second sticking point now was the tunnel towards the pitch. All these people had just run in and gone straight to the tunnel. Now there's a big gate in front and everyone starts banging on it saying, let us in, let us in. And obviously people are getting crushed left, right and center. This section here was now a lot more rowdy, where people were now just angry. Let us in, let us in, let us in. And I believe this is the place that the paramedics had to attend to at least one person. And as you would walk past, you would see people lined up on the side, mainly girls just crying, and shoes everywhere, belongings everywhere that people are just left behind because they just wanted to get out of that situation.
The stampedes zinasemekana zilihappen zilikuwa multiple. During one of those stampedes ndio tunaweza sema this guys passed away. Maybe walikanyagwa. Bro, if you have ever been in a stampede, like ulikuwa tu unatembea place tu hivi alafu crowd ikaanza tu crash, bro, kitu yenye unaombanga ni usianguke, because whenever umeanguka hivi it's so tough because wase wanapita, nobody cares, so wase wanakanyaga bro. And just imagine a weight of a fully grown person ama tu mse, let's say average size, amekuja kanyaga na hiyo momentum. You understand how hard it is to survive, bro. I went and checked Tukutane Entertainment's Instagram account to see if they have responded to the claims against them kuhusu event ya Asake and the aftermath, but hawajapeana response. They only posted about vile wase walijibamba. Of course, wao ni wase wa event, watajaribu kuportray it as a success. Walikuwa wanaonyesha tu vile sijui wase waliperform, wase wamebambika. And one of their latest posts, wase kadhaa kwa comments za kwanza wanawasifu, saying that the event was a 10 out of 10. Alafu the second part, of course, there are people who are trying to pressure them to give a statement on the people who passed away. So hii stuff yenye wase wanawasifu 10 out of 10 event, I don't know, it was great. It might be so because it's their opinion, but I know of other people who actually pay wase wapeane reviews. I'm not saying that wanaweza kuwa ati walilipwa, but be aware of that, inaweza happen. Wase wanaweza lipwa wa infiltrate the comment section to give the event another look than what it was. Anyway, kuna some mixed hapo hivyo. Wase wengine wanasema ilikuwa imeshika, it was cool. Other people saying that it wasn't good, the organization was poor. Wase wameanza kuallege how people died, it might be linked to sacrifice, bro.
Nishapata information watu watatu wamesonga jana kwa event ya Asake ati kulikuwa na stampede. Nishapata information jo watu watatu wamenyuria na mnakanyaga hiyo story, amtaki tubonge hiyo story. Na nilikatazama promoter wa Kenya bana jo kuleta Anisa wa Nigeria, Anisa wa Bongo. Itasumbua sana jo, na event ilikuwa inafanyika jana ya Solfest na ilitesa deadly. Mr. Asake, najua utapatana na hii video. Change or perish, you need to apologize to the Kenyan people.
Wajaribu kusema ati there was some cult going on hapo hivyo ndani, bro. Kuna video fulani hapo zimefanywa kadhaa kwa mtandao nimeona. They are trying to talk about how Asake amechange over some time. Unanipata? And there is a time alilink na dem fulani hapo wa fashion. Kuna wase wanamrefer as a witch. So wase wanajaribu kuportray hiyo, or they are trying to explain using that Asake maybe alisell his soul. Anyway, that's according to those videos. When a person mwenye ako karibu na wake kufa, it's so sad. Mse mwenye umekuwa ukimuona, sema ni mtoi wako manze, inauma sana. Alikuwa na tiko, ameenda kujibamba, alafu unasikia kesho asubuhi unaambiwa ati mtoto wako amededi. Manze hadi utasikia aje? Anyway guys, let me know what you think about this situation.